All right, guys. Oh my gosh, the sun, so bright. But you know what else is bright? Our sponsor, LastFit. Yes, today is the day that we have our first sponsorship on the channel. LastFit has sent out their 1156A bulbs for the front turn signals on our Mitsubishi Mirage. I'm going to be showing you today why you should choose LastFit over any other brand. As you guys should know, I did do an LED conversion on all of my lights 2 years ago. Now, these bulbs right here are their Gen 1 LED canvas light bulbs. Yes, these are anti-hyperflash. They have built-in resistors, and they have gone up 3 generations to what is now what they would say the perfect bulb. These have a smart power module inside of them that adjusts power rates so that they no longer overheat and they don't hyperflash after 5 minutes of use. These are probably one of the most advanced bulbs they have created so far, and I'm going to show you today how to install them. Alright guys, so as you know, this right here is our turn signal bulb. All we need to do is go ahead and twist to the left, and then we pull them out. You have them out, you're going to want to twist and then pull them out to get them out of those little grooves right there. Guys, once you get these out of the package, these are all metal housing, just like the last ones, with a plastic tip on the top. All of that technology is inside of this bulb. It is crazy the fact that we have gotten to the point where LEDs have gotten this smart and this compact to where we can actually put LED turn signals with resistors inside of our cars. So, basically, same procedure. You're going to line up those little grooves right there with the 2 grooves right here, and we're going to slide them, twist them, and I'm going to show you the final result. You have the bulb in here. It is as simple as pushing it in. We're going to twist till it goes flush to line up the grooves on our housing, and then we're going to turn counterclockwise to lock it into place. So we're going to go ahead and do a comparison. So I'm just going to use my key fob to activate them. Yeah, those are definitely a lot brighter. I don't know how well this is going to be showing up on camera when it comes to daytime, but I'm being a little bit blinded by these on the left. But the right ones are the Gen 3, the left ones are the Gen 1. Yeah, and you can definitely tell. And there's also maybe a slight little delay, so don't mix these with other brands of bulbs and or the Gen 1s, because 1, the brightness will be a lot different, and 2, the I think because of the smart power module, it might be a little bit more delayed. But yeah, I am definitely happy that the Gen 3s are a lot less bright. Still full orange color, amber, so you definitely are getting a lot more brightness than a amber incandescent bulb, but I can definitely tell you that for the money, these are amazing bulbs. I do want to say thank you to LastFit for sending these out to me to review. These are great bulbs, great technology. I want to thank LastFit for today's video, for sending these out. I do want to let y'all know that they have these not just for the Mitsubishi Mirage, but for all makes and models. So I do have the link to their website and to these bulbs down in the description. They sell headlights, tail lights, fog lights, and even bulbs as small as those little T5 bulbs. They sell all sorts of LEDs for all automotive applications, so go ahead and go check them out. I do want to also add that these do come with a 1-year warranty, so no need to worry about them going out or having any issues in the future, and if they do, you go through their customer support, which is US based, by the way, and they'll probably send you out a replacement, because that's just what LastFit does. They are a great company with great customer support, and I do, again, want to say thank you so much for sponsoring the Mitsubishi Madman channel. Now, let's get back to it. Alright guys, so y'all are wondering, what is today's video about? Yes, so this is a long anticipated video. Well, I mean, everybody's going to have to do it, but this is the 100,000 mile maintenance video. Yes, so we are going to be doing multiple things. We're going to be changing air filter, cabin filter, serpentine belt, spark plugs, coolant. So we're going to do a full drain and fill in the coolant system, and also transmission. So since this is the 5-speed, this is not a CVT transmission. We are going to be doing a drain and fill. We don't have to do with any filters or anything crazy like that. We don't have to run it for a little bit, then drain more fluid, and then refill it again. We only have to drain and then fill. And the thing about this video is that I really haven't done much maintenance to this car other than air filters, brakes, tires, and oil changes. That's it. And I have had zero issues with this car since I've gotten it from the dealership. It has actually been one of the most reliable cars I've ever driven in my entire life. Yes, even more than my Oldsmobile over there, which I have had for 7 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take y'all step by step through all the processes for all of the things that we're going to be doing in today's video. And this is all the stuff that we have for today's video. We have a Dayco Serpentine belt because I'm not paying $50 for a belt from Mitsubishi. We got laser iridium from NGK for the spark plugs. We got cabin filter, air filter, antifreeze, and the transmission fluid. I believe there are part numbers up here, I believe. Or not. You just go to your local Mitsubishi dealership and they can sell it to you straight from the parts department. But these I got from Advanced Auto Parts. So this, I think everything in total, including the Mitsubishi stuff, it's about $150. And that's not even including labor because we're going to be doing it ourselves. So let's get straight into it. Now you would think, let's do the easiest thing first, the filters. But the thing is, when we do our spark plugs, we're going to have to take this whole top assembly off, including the air hose over here and all the connectors. So we're going to actually do that last, and we're going to do the spark plugs first. Okay guys, so to remove the air box, or the air filter box, or whatever you want to call it, there's going to be 3 10mm bolts, one in the back, 2 in the front. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the same 10mm and loosen this screw that holds your intake hose on, and then you're going to want to shimmy it up and off of that little knob right there. So that right there is going to be holding it down. It's going to feel like there's something holding it. All you're going to want to do is give it a little bit of pressure up, and you're going to want to shake it and it'll come straight off. Another thing, make sure you unplug this. I just have it flipped over, but I'm going to be unplugging this and then moving it out the way. And then we have full access to the coil packs and then the spark plugs. Another quick solution to get this off without, ripping wires or breaking a plug, I'm just going to take the map sensor out, and that takes a T10 Starhead Torx bolt. Alright guys, so now since we have full access to the top of the engine, we're going to be taking, I would assume, and if Mitsubishi is nice to us, another 10mm on all 3 of these coil plugs, and then we're going to also unplug the coil plugs to then pull out the coil packs to get to the spark plugs down below. Alright guys, so one of the things that I really like to do when doing any sort of maintenance, I like to keep everything where it was before. So for each coil pack, I've aligned it with where it is in the engine, and then I also put the bolt with whichever one it came out of. It's not necessary, but it's something I like to do. To unplug these, it's as simple as pushing down on this tab and pulling. Don't pull too hard. If it's not letting you pull it out, just make sure you're pushing down harder on this, and then it'll come out. Super easy. Another thing you're going to want to do when you're taking the spark plugs out of this, you want to make sure that nothing gets in here. So you're going to want to fill these holes with like a paper towel or a cloth or something that that won't flake apart and get into the engine, because you see how dirty it is up here. It's super dusty. So what I'm going to do is, after I get the spark plugs out of each hole, I'm going to put something in it, so then when it comes down to if I got to walk away or the wind blows, I don't want anything going down here into the actual engine itself. We're also going to make sure that these wires are out of the way, because we don't want to make anything, I don't think these can short, but we don't want to mix them up, which actually we probably couldn't even do that because of the length. So I don't know, I just want them out of my way. So that's what we're going to be doing now, guys. And for the spark plug removal, you're going to get a long extension, a 1/4-inch socket, and a 5/8 bit. So that's what the size of the spark plug is. So make sure it's a deep socket too, because you won't be able to get it with the small socket. You have to have the deep socket so the spark plug can fit inside of it and we can remove it. So don't put too much tension when you're loosening it or tightening it, because you don't want to strip it and you don't want to break it, because these have ceramic in them, and ceramic in an engine don't go good. Okay guys, so you actually will probably need a spark plug socket if you want to get these plugs out, or a magnetic little extendy thing. So I had to end up getting a spark plug socket for this, just to pull them out, because after you loosen them and get them fully unthreaded, it's kind of hard to get them out. Or you could get 2 screwdrivers and or some pliers. There's multiple ways you can get them out. But here are my spark plugs. This is cylinder 1, which I'm going 1, 2, 3. They might be numbered differently, but I'm just going to do it in a row. Cylinder 1, minimal carbon buildup. The tip is actually super clean. That's good. I would say the discoloration here is mostly, I'll say, oxidation. Same with cylinder 2, actually. Minimal carbon buildup. The tip looks pretty good. I would say, and then even on cylinder 3, minimal carbon buildup. Tips look good. I mean, this car, I mean, it's not a performance vehicle, but this is a clean burn, and this is how you get better fuel economy. You have to have a really good burn, an efficient burn, in order to get the most power out of the fuel that you do put into the engine. Now, I do have, these aren't OE replacements, but they're NGK spark plugs. So they're the same type. They're laser iridiums, and they're pre-gapped for me based on my vehicle specifications. So this is great. They're already pre-gapped, so I don't have to gap them. And then they are exactly the same. I believe, I don't know what the part number is for this. There we go. Stock number 92145. So what my parts department had to do, or my parts store had to do, they were recommending OE replacements from NGK, and they were showing no other plugs, but they literally have so many of these NGK plugs that could fit in this car that are laser iridiums that are meant for this engine. They just don't show up. So we actually had to go and look them up. So if you have that same issue, laser iridiums, that stock number, you should be good to go. Putting them back in is a reverse process. You do want to put some dielectric grease on these tips and inside of those coil boots if you're not replacing them. I'm not replacing them because everything works. I'm just replacing the spark plugs, and that's about it. So you're going to want to hand tighten these, and then once it gets snug, you'll want to give it a half a turn, and then that's it. You don't really want to crush these in there. Again, you don't want to break them and have them snap into your engine block. So that's what I'm going to do. Not snap them into my engine block. I'm going to put them in. All right, so after you have the spark plugs in and they're tightened, it's pretty much the reverse process. You're going to take your coil plug, you're going to make sure that you put it in the correct direction, and you push it onto the plug. So I can actually get this on video. I'm going to push it down onto the plug. It should sit flat, and then you're going to want to screw your 10mm into the fastener right there. All right, guys, so the next thing that we're going to do, we just finished spark plugs. I put them all in, bolted them down, plugged them in. We're going to be doing the Serpentine belt. I have not replaced this since factory, and I believe that they're not supposed to be brown. They're supposed to be black. So it is definitely time. And also, it just started squealing on cold starts. So I would say it is definitely time to replace this. The weird thing about Mitsubishi is that they don't have a regular tensioning system. They have this. So you have to loosen these two bolts, and then there's a 14mm at the bottom of the alternator that you're going to have to loosen as well. So this is the adjuster. This is just a tightening screw that keeps it in place. We're going to have to loosen that 14. Do not take it off, and then we'll be able to move the alternator back and forth and replace the belt. I also do want to mention these two bolts are 12mm. For this one, you can fit a regular socket, but you can also do a deep socket. Clearance over here is pretty good, so you could probably do a deep socket for both, but I'm just going to be using a regular socket. Make sure to loosen this first, so then the alternator can move. Then you can use this to move the alternator. I'm just going to say this right now. I haven't replaced anything. 10 minutes worth of time and a breaker bar, literally, to get this bolt off. Don't do this every 100,000 miles. Do this every 30, like it says in the manual. All right, guys, and then just like that, 15 minutes later and a headache, let's just say out with the old, and we're about to go in with the new. Getting this out was pretty easy, except for the bolts, which is a pain in the butt. I almost would like a regular tensioner system, but at the same time, tensioners are also a pain in the butt. So it's a give and take here, but finally got the old one out. Let's put the new one in. All right, guys, so after this monstrosity, so basically took the old belt off, then you have to reroute the new belt. The new belt goes, well, I mean, it goes the same way as the old belt, but I just wanted to show y'all. It goes down, around, onto the crankshaft pulley down there, then across onto this pulley, which is the AC compressor. Well, no, not that pulley, the one down here. This is the AC compressor, so it goes down, around, onto that, then underneath of this, in between the crankshaft and this, and that is the flat side, and then up and around the alternator, and then it is on. So then I had to tension it. Got about, I mean, we got some play, but It's not that much. It's pretty tight, so won't be having any squeals or issues with that. Then we locked it into place after we tightened it with the adjuster. Once we locked it into place, then we tightened the 14mm bolt at the bottom, and then we made sure this was snug so then it doesn't loosen and we lose it over time. So now all we're going to do is we're going to put all this stuff back together, the air box, and reconnect that hose. Make sure to put your map sensor back in if you didn't unplug it and stuff like that. So we put everything back together, we put our sensor back in, we tighten this back up, make sure to route this in its proper channel, put the 3 bolts in, they're nice and tight. This is always loose, so I always had some black electrical tape holding it on, so I'm probably going to replace that. Serpentine belt is on and tight. Now we're going to move on to the manual transmission. We're going to do a drain, and we're going to fill it back up with fluid. All right, for this part, you're going to need a drain pan, 2 quarts of 75 W80 manual transmission fluid straight from Mitsubishi. And then you're going to want a flexi and small tipped like fill nozzle, because the angle that you have to go into to fill this transmission is ridiculous. So I have 2, so then I get maximum coverage, and then I'm going to have a big funnel at the top to kind of fill the transmission. So another thing you're going to need, 24-inch socket on a 1/2-inch drive, because it's pretty big bolts. So, and I don't think they come in any quarter or other sizes. So this is all you're going to need: 24-inch socket, manual transmission fluid, drain pan, and something to fill it with to get into that hole. The actual bolt for it, if I can bring y'all down to it, is right there. So this is the front of the transmission. This is the 24-inch bolt that's right there. That is for the that's for the fill. I do have this car jacked up, so jack for safety, and then jack stands on both sides. All right, when you're underneath the engine, underneath the car, you're going to be on the driver's side, and you're going to look for this bolt right here. So this bolt is right by the subframe connected to the control arm. It's going to be right here. That is your drain bolt. Make sure that you're able to break loose the fill bolt before you're able to break this loose, because if you can't fill it, then you're not going to be able to drive it. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and crack that open with the drain pan underneath of it and start draining. All right, this is going to be hard to film, but once you have your drain pan underneath, you're going to want to stick your 24-inch up here, and you're going to want to break it loose. Literally took 2 seconds to loosen it. Now we're going to go ahead and drain the fluid. I can't get a good shot of this. There we go. That looks pretty clean. So we're going to let this drain, and then I'll get back to y'all when it's done. Now, since we've drained the transmission of its fluid, we're going to go ahead, we're going to crack open that fill bolt just to, let some more air in. We should have did that in the beginning, but we did that. So now the transmission is finished filling, but according to the manual, this transmission takes 1.7 liters of fluid. So what we're going to do, I looked on the Mitsubishi forums. It said about 9.3 liters of this stuff should, not liters, oh my gosh, 9.3 ounces of this stuff should be left over. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate, and we're going to get it on the second bottle. We're going to get it right in between that 8 and 12. And that should be good enough. I might put a little extra in it just to be safe. A lot of people are like, well, this is the first time I ever heard of not filling it till it drains, but I'm just going to listen to the manual. If it requires 1.7 quarts, I'm going to put 1.7 in it. I might put a little bit more, so maybe 1.8, but it shouldn't hurt the transmission at all. We're going to go ahead and get this fluid in here, and it's going to be amazing. All right, guys, so another thing, there is a washer on that bolt down there. Make sure that you put that back, because it fell into this. No. You make sure you put that back on. I believe there's also a washer on this bolt over here. If it'll focus. Yeah, there's a washer on that one. I'll show you when I pull it out. But now we're gonna remove that and get our little contraption going to fill it. Alright guys, to kind of show y'all what I got going on here, this is the flexi thing that is in the fill hole of the transmission. Then we have another funnel that is running into that other funnel that is running into the transmission. So now when we put fluid in here, it should, in theory, just go into the transmission. So that's what we're going to do. And yeah. Alright, so lesson learned today. It takes exactly 1.7 quarts and then it starts coming out the fill hole. So you really don't have to measure. What I saw on the Mitsubishi forums was you have to measure it out, then put the exact amount of fluid in. No, it just comes straight out of the fill. So I learned that the hard way because I was trying to put a little bit more fluid in, like I said before, and it rejected it. But that's fine. Ooh, it is windy. We're about to get a cold front out here. It's definitely getting a little nippy. Okay guys, so because of weather that is fast approaching in this area, I'm going to be doing the filters, and then we are going to save the coolant system for the next video. So we're going to start with the air filter. This is probably going to be the simplest part of today. We're going to pop these off right here. I'm going to go ahead, and it's going to it's going to lever on that. I'm going to pull it out a little bit, and then we'll have access to the little gasket right here. We can pull out the old filter. That is fine. It's a little dirty. I haven't replaced it in like 50,000 miles. So definitely time to change that. So we're going to set that to the side. Got our new air filter from CarQuest, 538871 if anybody wants to use it. I only use CarQuest because I'm not paying Mitsubishi's prices for their air filters. Alright, and this is our new filter, nice and clean. Gonna have better airflow and probably better economy. So we're gonna put the gasket side out, so towards you, and that's gonna go in like this. So you're gonna push that in, and then you're gonna make sure it's flat and flush like that. And then we're gonna push it into those little slots right there, and clip it back into place, like so. Once you hear the click, that's it. That's the air filter. All right, for the cabin filter, if any of y'all didn't know, yes, your car has a cabin filter. We're gonna have to remove the glove box. Remove the glove box. We're gonna go ahead and push in. There's these little tabs that are holding the glove box in place right here. On both sides, we're gonna push in, and then we're gonna let everything drop out. But if you don't want everything to drop out, just set it up there. And then you go down here, and then this down here is your blower motor, and this up here is your cabin air filter. So there's a little latch right here, you know, push in like so. You know, push in and pull like that. Okay, and then make sure that you do not hinge, because you will break the clips off that are right here. So you're going to want to pull to the side, and that's your cabin air filter right there. So we're going to go ahead, see how it says airflow this way, because that's the direction the air is going to be going. Got to make sure when we put it back, we do the same thing. Ew, and you are breathing all of that? Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, so make sure you replace these more often than I do, because it seems like I want to breathe nastiness. All right, guys, and then when you put it back, make sure that the airflow symbol is in the same direction, because don't want to have this thing not filtering the air that you breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and put this little latch back. Just make sure that when you put it in, you got to make sure these go in to the side over here. So you got to go sideways. You got to push it this way. Let's go ahead and do that. And then you got to clip it in by pushing. And then once it's in, that's it. Then you just push this back up, and then it's all good. And it also gives you a good opportunity to clean this out, because I don't know how, but the glove box is always filthy. All right, guys, after a small little test drive, everything went well. No leaks, no shutters, no misfires. Everything is great. The car is running better than ever, just like factory new. So if y'all enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button, and check out our sponsor LastFit. I do want to thank them again for sponsoring today's video. They are the reason why this video exists and why I will be continuing to do YouTube videos going forward. And also on top of that, we didn't do the coolant today, so we're going to do a separate video on the coolant. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and put them in the comments section below. I will be answering them. And until next time, I'll see you.